Top of the evening and welcome to the news here on IETV and to our viewers on IETVTT.com. I'm Kevin Maharaj. Thank you for joining us. In the headlines, Energy Minister says 10% of BP's global investment to be directed to Trinidad and Tobago next year. A police officer was shot during an assault response in Tunapuna. And internationally, the India Air Force has strengthened its combat capabilities with the integration of Scalp cruise missiles, allowing the Air Force to engage strategic targets with high accuracy. In our top story, Minister of Energy and Energy Industries Dr. Rudal Munidal announced in the House of Representatives today that as of next year, 10% of BP's global investment will be directed towards Trinidad and Tobago. Dr. Munidal described the move as a significant boost for the country's energy sector, highlighting the potential for increased development, job creation, and long-term economic growth.
So if you look at the progress in the energy sector, what relationship with Venezuela has impaired what? Impede what? Done what? Every single day, oil and gas companies come to Port of Spain seeking out myself, the member for Point Fortin, and of course, privileged to have meetings with the Prime Minister, looking for investment, giving their investment profile. Next year, I believe, I can't say this, I hope, I think 10% of the global capital investment of BP will be made in Trinidad and Tobago next year. 10% of their global investment will go to one country, Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, that is the performance we are looking at.
A police officer was shot and injured during a patrol in Tunapuna on Monday night as officers responded to a report of assault. Police say officers attached to the Northern Division were on mobile patrol along Mingo Road and Farley Street around 8 p.m. when they responded to a report. While officers were interviewing the victim, a suspect armed with a high-powered rifle opened fire and on the police vehicle, striking one of the officers in the right leg. The officer sustained a broken leg along with other gunshot injuries. A civilian was also shot during the incident. Both the injured officer and the civilian were taken to the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex in Mount Hope, where they received medical treatment. Police said another officer returned fire during the incident. Investigations are ongoing. Minister of Land and Legal Affairs and Member of Parliament for Barataria San Juan Saddam Hussein today moved a motion in Parliament seeking approval of a land acquisition requisition order made by the President. Here's more.
The motion was brought under Section 5, Subsection 1 of the Land Acquisition Act, Chapter 5801, which allows the President to declare land required for a public purpose. Under Section 5, Subsection 2 of the Act, such an order must be approved by Parliament. Minister Hussain told the House that the Land Acquisition Requisition Order 2026 was made by the President under Section 5.1 of the Act and published as Legal Notice Number 24, dated February 2nd, 2026. He said the resolution before Parliament seeks to formally approve that order, allowing the acquisition process to proceed. During his presentation, Minister Hussain explained that the land in question is now at the final stage of acquisition for a public purpose. He outlined the 3 stages involved in the land acquisition process and said the motion represents the final step required for completion. The minister emphasized that the acquisition is necessary in the national interest and urged Parliament to approve the order.
Under the Land Acquisition Act, Section 3 of the Act requires that once a state wants a particular parcel of land for a public purpose, a Section 3 notice must be published, giving a notice to the world that the state wants this particular piece of property or land for a public purpose. In this case, the public purpose was for the Trinidad and Tobago Housing Development Corporation for the construction of homes. So, Cabinet would have agreed to this in 2019, and the Section 3 notice was published on the 24th of January, 2020. So notice was given to the entire world that the state required this parcel of land off Cora, Royal Road, and El Dorado for housing development. So what we're doing here, Mr. President, is now engaging the 3rd step, which is the Section 5 notice. And under Section 5 of the Land Acquisition Act, it now requires us to go to Cabinet, indicate that 3 and 4 has been finished, The Section 5 has to be done. We have the survey plans that have been approved. The Section 5.1 notice would have been published, and now that matter has to engage the attention of the Parliament.
Honourable Senators, the question is, be it resolved that the Land Acquisition Requisition Order 2026 be approved. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The motion is carried.
We pause for a moment. More news when we come back.
From the freshness of the ocean, Rainbow has sealed in all the natural, healthy goodness in their canned tuna, sardines, and mackerel. So go ahead, enjoy some crispy sardines, stewed mackerel, or a creamy tuna salad. Because while your tummy enjoys the great taste, your heart and immunity will love the healthy omega-3s, calcium, protein, and more. Rainbow's canned tuna, sardines, and mackerel are 100% real fish. So it's tasty, healthy eating for your body, heart, and mind. Rainbow canned fish.
Tile Expressions Limited, as one of the largest importers of tiles, offers an extensive range of high-quality tiles in ceramic, porcelain, granite, stone, and mosaic options. Additionally, we offer a variety of tile accessories and bathroom sets to complement any decor style. We are committed to providing exceptional customer service and swift delivery of all products. From indoor and outdoor tiles to bathroom sets and tile accessories, we have curated a range that caters to both traditional and modern taste. Lampoos 13, Ajudha Road, Munro Road, Canopio. Call 223-8453.
And welcome back. U.S. Southern Command has confirmed that a military strike was carried out on a vessel linked to a designated terrorist organization during a counter-narcotic operation in the Eastern Pacific. In a statement, SOUTHCOM said the operation took place on February 9th under the direction of Commander General Francis L. Donovan and was executed by Joint Task Force Southern Spear. Intelligence reports indicated that the vessel was traveling along a known narcotic trafficking routes and was actively engaging in drug smuggling activities. The strike resulted in the deaths of 2 individuals described as narco-terrorists, while a 3rd person survived. U.S. Southern Command said the U.S. Coast Guard was immediately notified following the engagement and initiated search and rescue procedures for the survivor. The operation forms a part of an ongoing effort by U.S. forces to disrupt transitional criminal and terrorist networks operation in the region. Archbishop Jason Gordon has called for Carnival to be regulated if mass bands are unable to effectively regulate themselves. The call follows a controversial decision by Tribe to distribute adult toys to female masqueraders, a move that has sparked widespread debate on social media and beyond. The Archbishop said the incident raises serious concerns about decency, values, and the direction in which Carnival is heading.
There's so many beautiful pieces of Carnival. You know, the Cambole riots, the Dimanche Gras show, the Pan, the Moko Jumbies, there's so many amazing things about Carnival. So many amazing things. Last year I wrote this one, choosing 7 songs, 7 of the calypsos from last year, from 2025, showing how they tell a story of nation building, unlike anything I have seen before in my life. Marry me to the heart of Port of Spain. If I leave a bong to come again, this covenantal love between us and the city. If we have a covenantal love between us and the city, we also have to take Carnival and start pushing back at it.
Minister of Education Dr. Michael Dowlatt announced that as of tomorrow, February 11th, every secondary school student across the country will have a laptop delivered, marking a major milestone in the government's digital education drive. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the Junior Soccer competition at the Southern Academy for Performing Arts today, Dr. Dowlatt said the initiative is aimed at ensuring equal access to technology for all students regardless of geographic location or economic background. He noted that the program will enhance digital learning, support classroom instruction, and better prepare students for a technology-driven world. The minister added that the laptop distribution forms a part of the ministry's broader efforts to modernize the education system and improve learning outcomes at the secondary level.
Ladies and gentlemen, students, I cannot help but reiterate that we stand at a crossroads in education. We are blending technology, modern technology, with the traditional ways of teaching. And I want to say by tomorrow, at the secondary school level, every single student in Form 1 will have a laptop delivered. Let's congratulate the team at the ministry that would have done that.
Wells Service Limited has officially ended its efforts to recover the remains of an employee who was lost at sea following the collapse of Rig 110 late last year. In a statement issued on Monday, Wells Service Limited said the search for employee Pete Phillip has formally concluded. Phillip was lost at sea when Rig 110 collapsed on December 22, 2024. The company said the intensive recovery operation was launched in January involving both local and international specialists with the sole objective of locating Phillip. Despite weeks of coordinated salvage and search activity, the efforts were unsuccessful. According to Wells Services, all viable search areas have now been exhausted and no further locations remain to be explored, leading to the difficult decision to discontinue recovery operations. The company described the outcome as heartbreaking and confirmed that Phillip's family has been informed, while Services extends condolences to his relatives and reiterated its commitment to providing ongoing support. You're watching IETV News. We'll return after these messages.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality bromate free, all purpose and whole wheat flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisho Limited at 665-3336 or 480-8715 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisho Limited, quality you can trust.
Har Har Mahadev just arrived at Prem Singh's in time for Mahashivratri, a variety of Narmada and marble lingams directly from India, starting from 2 inches. They have Abhishek Lotas in brass and copper, Trishuls and Shiva Dhamrus in various sizes, plus a 108-bead Tiger's Eye Mala and Rudraksh Malas, ideal for Mahashiva Jap. Let Prem Singh's Puja Bhavan continue to assist you in your devotion with conveniently packaged ready-made Shivadhar, along with all ingredients required to complete your offerings, including Ganga Jal. You'll love the new arrivals of Lord Shiva Murti clothing in various sizes, Rudraksh handbands, Narmada lingam pendants, tiger printed, and Om Namah Shiva shawls for offerings. While shopping, don't forget to pick up your Shivratri handout. Prem Singh's Puja Bhavan, corner Watt Street, Curab, and in Chiwanas, now relocated to 11 St. Ives Street. Call 663-6084. Visit Prem Singh's today. It's a family tradition, serving the nation and Dharma.
Are you renewing your motor, homeowner or business insurances shortly? Then call Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, for a competitive quote. With 2 locations, Todd Street, El Socorro and 5 Rivers, Aruca. Please call us at 221-5051 or 227-5051. Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, building relationships exceeding expectations.
And welcome back. A 28-year-old laborer was stabbed to death in Londonville on Monday evening after he reportedly attempted to record an altercation on his cell phone. The victim has been identified as Kyle Edmund of Fleming Street, Londonville. Police said the incident occurred around 6:30 p.m. along Fleming Street, where Edmund and a 17-year-old boy were observing a confrontation involving a man known to them and several other individuals. Investigators said Edmund was holding his cell phone and appeared to be recording the altercation when the suspect approached him armed with a knife and stabbed him twice. once in the right shoulder and once in the left side of his chest. The teenager was also wounded, sustaining a minor injury to his upper back. Edmund ran a short distance before being transported to the Chaguanas Health Facility by an unknown individual. He arrived at the hospital around 6:52 p.m. showing signs of life, but was pronounced dead at around 7:10 p.m. despite medical efforts. Police later secured the scene after discovering bloodstains along the roadway and in the yard of a nearby resident. The suspect fled the area with the weapon. The injured teenager declined medical treatment as investigations are ongoing. Let's now take a look at some international news.
India is moving swiftly to arm its Rafale fighter jets with the Scalp long-range cruise missile and the Meteor beyond visual range air-to-air missile. These weapons, designed to strike first and strike deep. The negotiations with France are being accelerated as part of a broader defense push that could also see India clear a massive deal for 114 new Rafale jets. Scalp is the game changer on the ground. Fired from high altitude, it can fly hundreds of kilometers, hugging terrain, evading radar, and smashing hardened targets with surgical precision. Bunkers, command centers, strategic infrastructure. Once launched, there is little warning and even less defense. Meteor dominates the skies, powered by a Ram jet engine. It maintains speed deep into combat range, giving Rafale pilots unmatched kill probability against enemy aircraft. Unlike traditional missiles, Meteor doesn't lose energy at the final moment. It hunts relentlessly. Together, Scalp and Meteor turn Rafale into a lethal multi-role predator, capable of air dominance and deep strike missions in a single sortie. This follows the staggering success of Operation Sindoor last year, where Rafales reportedly used Scalp missiles to obliterate terrorist headquarters in Pakistan's Muridke and Bahawalpur with pinpoint precision. The deal for Scalp missiles alone is reportedly estimated at nearly $385 million. Add the potential clearance of 114 Rafale jets, a deal that could run into about $40 billion US. The message is unmistakable. India is investing in deterrence, not symbolism. Timing matters. Regional threats are evolving. Airspace is contested. Precision and speed now decide outcomes, not numbers alone. These upgrades allow India to strike targets without crossing borders, hit first if needed, and control escalation. French President Emmanuel Macron's upcoming India visit adds momentum. Defense ties between India and France are already deep. This phase makes them sharper. For the Indian Air Force, this is not just modernization, it is transformation. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
Weeks after repressing a wave of protests, Iran has taken a two-track approach. It is rounding up and jailing perceived critics while at the same time pursuing a potential diplomatic opening with the U.S. A spokesperson for the main reformist coalition told local media that Iran's Revolutionary Guards have arrested the group's spokesperson, Javad Imam, along with 4 others. Several activists and filmmakers who co-signed a protest statement were also detained. Iran's government has branded the protest riots fueled by Israel and the U.S. In a statement on Monday, the country's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, urged people to show resolve against foreign pressure. However, alongside its defined pronouncements, Iran has signaled it could come to some kind of deal to dial back its nuclear program to avoid further conflicts. Local media reported that Iranian Atomic Agency Chief Mohammad Islami has said that Tehran could dilute its highly enriched uranium in return for sanctions relief. Now, diluting or downblending uranium means that mixing it with other substances to reduce the enrichment level so the final product does not exceed a given threshold, and thus extending the amount of time it would take Iran to create sufficient nuclear material for a bomb. Now, at the talks in Oman last week, the U.S. and Iran agreed to discuss Tehran's nuclear program. The Washington and Israel also want to put its ballistic missiles and support for regional militant groups on the agenda. Iranian officials have repeatedly ruled out putting Iran's missiles, one of the largest such arsenals in West Asia, up for discussions. Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian said that the new round of nuclear negotiations is an appropriate opportunity for a fair and balanced resolution of Tehran's nuclear issue, calling on the U.S. to avoid excessive demands.
The Islamic Republic of Iran, for its part, will take steps toward the success of this path and hopes that the other side will also remain committed to this objective and its requirements without making excessive demands so that a desirable outcome can be achieved.
Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi held separate calls with his Egyptian, Saudi and Turkish counterparts and described talks with the U.S. as a good start, while emphasizing the need to dispel mistrust about the American side's intentions and objectives.
Has the start of the end of NATO begun? We ask this because the United States is pulling back its troops while Washington is preparing to hand over two of NATO's most critical command posts to European leadership. Allied Joint Force Command in Naples and Joint Force Command in Norfolk will soon move out of American hands and into the control of European officers. Both commands are currently led by U.S. admirals, and that is about to change now. With Italy taking over the base in Naples and Britain in Norfolk, the shift is in alignment with President Donald Trump's demands that Europe must take responsibility for its own security. His administration wants a NATO that no longer depends on Washington to lead, fund, and manage its core military structure. The message from the White House has been clear. NATO must become European-led, and it is making multiple moves toward this. Recently, the Pentagon has reportedly informed allies of a withdrawal of around 200 American personnel from NATO structures across Europe. These exits effectively roughly 30 NATO-linked bodies are affected here, including specialized training centers and expert groups. American troops are also leaving key locations such as NATO's Intelligence Fusion Center in the UK, the Allied Special Operation Forces Command in Brussels, and a maritime command structure in Portugal. This transition comes amid political strain within the alliance and rising tensions in the Arctic and North Atlantic, especially with respect to Greenland. Last February, remember, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth publicly told European allies to take ownership of the conventional security on the continent, and Europe responded months later. At the NATO summit in The Hague, leaders pledged to raise defense spending to 5% of their national GDPs, more than double the earlier target. But despite that commitment, Pentagon plans to redirect military resources away from Europe and toward other priorities, including the Indo-Pacific and the U.S. border security. For now, nearly 80,000 American troops remain stationed in Europe. NATO officials stress that the U.S. presence is still substantial. Yet the direction is unmistakable. The balance of power inside NATO appears to be clearly shifting.
When we return, your weather update and more. Stay tuned.
During these challenging times, Dollar Value Supermarket is here for you, providing our customers with a clean, safe shopping environment, fresh produce from our farms, affordable prices, and friendly customer service. It's these values that make us not just a supermarket, but part of the community, committed to serving you and your family. Dollar Value Supermarket, your pocket-friendly supermarket. Free home deliveries from our Gasparilla and Faizabad branches.
This Valentine's Day, join us on ITV for a full day of special programming. Live from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., enjoy a special Valentine's Day concert with Ruby Khan Gupta. Plus, call in for your chance to win exciting prizes.
Welcome back to IETV's Major News. Let's take a look at the weather forecast.
In today's weather update, today was partly cloudy to sunny across Trinidad and Tobago with warm and humid conditions. Periods of increased cloudiness developed during the afternoon, bringing isolated to scattered showers, mainly across central, eastern, and southern areas, while other districts remained generally fair. Daytime temperatures reached around 32 to 33 in Trinidad and near 31 in Tobago. Tonight is expected to be partly cloudy with a low to moderate chance of lingering showers, particularly over eastern, central, and southern areas. Elsewhere, conditions should remain generally settled. Winds will be light to moderate from the east, with overnight temperatures dipping to around 24 to 25 degrees. Tomorrow, Wednesday, February 11th, is forecast to be partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy with isolated showers developing during the day and a slight increase in activity during the afternoon. Sunny intervals will persist and warm, humid conditions are expected to continue. Maximum temperatures are forecast to reach near 32 in Trinidad and around 31 in Tobago. Looking at marine conditions, seas will slide to moderate generally between 1.0 and 1.5 meters, occasionally reaching near 2.0 meters in open waters. Marine conditions are expected to remain generally favorable through Wednesday, and mariners are advised to exercise normal caution.
Let's take a look at some crime news.
An AR-15 rifle and a quantity of cannabis was seized by officers of the North Central Division during an intelligence-led operation conducted in St. Joseph District. The exercise was conducted between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. on Saturday, 7th February, during which task force officers of Area West, NCD Criminal Investigations Department Areas West and East, and the K9 branch proceeded to Cayman Road, St. Joseph. There, the officers conducted a comprehensive search of a bushy area where they found 3 bags containing 42 kilograms of cannabis. The officers also found 1 rifle loaded with a magazine. The operation was initiated by ACP Singh, Senior Superintendent Gift, and Superintendent Jaikaran, coordinated by ASP Barath, ASP Peer, Inspector Peters, and Sergeant Pamphile. Investigations are ongoing.
Recapping the headlines, Energy Minister says 10% of BP's global investment to be directed to Trinidad and Tobago next year. A police officer was shot during an assault response in Tunapuna, and internationally, the India Air Force has strengthened its combat capabilities in integration of Scalp cruise missiles, allowing the Air Force to engage strategic targets with high accuracy. Well, this is where we leave you for now. On behalf of our entire news team, I'm Kevin Maharaj. Thank you for joining us.